Wow. All right. Hi. Welcome back. All right. I wasn't too sure what I was going to do today when I wrote the description for the stream. Um, and since then, I've come up with a vague idea. Let's see here. First, is going to grab this thing. So, the last stream, let's see this. Cool. Oh, oh, wow. Okay. I'm a little out of sorts. I'm not sure why. All right, that. Yep. And it's fine. Okay, so last stream I worked on retrofitting a an old survival pod that I had done a playthrough with that I thought would make a good uh, like a littoral or a coastal space coastal um, defensive drone, and I did that with the intent of dropping that into or building that in a survival game that I'm playing on a server. Um, so I did go ahead and build that on the server, and I was thinking, I had originally thought maybe like since that stream was a couple hours and I built it, that this stream would be me building it on the server and then deploying it and then going through the headache of making sure all the AI blocks work and all that stuff. And I I don't know. I don't really think that's going to be that interesting. I did already build it on the server, and unless there are enemy things in the area to attack, there's no real way to really know if the AI blocks are working and to test them. So I kind of figured, I don't know. I just didn't. I don't know about that. So what I decided to do is a modification of that plan. So on that very same server, after I built that craft, I then docked it because one other concern is my idea was to let it just roam around, and I realized that it while I built it with a let's have it here when we're talking about it. While I did build it with, I believe, a 4 hour uh, time lifespan, I guess, to till it runs out of power. Um, I didn't I didn't add any capacity for automatic to manage automatic landing to recharge, um, and I didn't really want to mess with it. Thought about it, and I was just like, I don't. One thing at a time. Right? First, I just want to make sure it patrols randomly and fights bad guys, and so what I did was I built it and I docked it to leave let it charge. Oh, hi, Pimpin. And and then I figured I would just leave it there when I was offline, and I was online. I could undock it if I wanted to, or whatever. But anyway, I guess from a couple different directions, it just seemed like it wasn't really going to be either that much to do or that much very interesting to do. Uh, so I did, as you can see, I did paint it. Since it was meant to be a patrol craft, and basically like a deterrent. I mean, granted, the drones aren't going to, they don't actually think; they're all automated. Um, but the intent is that it's supposed to be deterrent. So I figured I would go for a high visibility paint job. So I figured orange with yellow stripes is kind of like, you know, hey, we're here, we're in the area, so mind your behavior and don't cause problems. that's what I went with. I think it looks nice. It's I'm a little happier with this than the brown that I had before. Um, I like brown, but it just wasn't working for me. Anyway, that's the craft. I do think later on I will jump onto that server, and you guys will be able to see this docked up to the station, and I can undock it and let it go, see what it does. But again, unless there's a hostile thing, it's not probably not going to do much. But I guess at the very least, I will be able to see if it is smart enough to not run into the asteroid base. So anyway, so there's that. So that's what I'm going to do a little bit later. One thing I'm going to do. Oh, I guess I should back up. So I know the whole driver of building that thing was that I told the story about how a hostile drone factory, space pirate drone factory, had parked 10 kilometers away from my base, and so it kept like launching these tiny little drones at me, and that ended up going away. So not ended up being a non-issue. So so that's another reason why I'm like, well, I can turn it on, but there's not going to be a whole lot necessarily to see. But I guess I can test the roaming behavior. It's supposed to wander, so we'll see that, see if it's smart enough not to hit the base. So in the game where I did build that this past week, I stumbled across an NPC that had run out of power. So I figured I would go ahead and claim it and refurbish it. So I started on that a little bit, just for something to do. It was, again, it was kind of late, and it was just enough to sort of be in the shipyard hanging out, or in the game doing stuff. So I made a blueprint of it because I decided that what I wanted to do was just bring it into a building creative save and work on it a little more freely. So this, I should have saved the original version. I did not. This is actually I believe it's called a mobile shipyard. And when you find it, there is this gray area is actually a platform that sticks out a little bit over here, and it's right now it's arranged in the orientation of gravity, like what is on screen is up and down. So it's it's like an asymmetrical sideways design. It's actually pretty symmetrical from this perspective, but this is actually how it's oriented. And there's on the vanilla NPC, there's a bridge section right where these four gray blocks are that kind of extend out here. And then all of this, where these thrusters and this railgun is, this is all a platform that extends out towards kind of where I am right here. So it's sort of a modern version of, let's see, here it is. Any moment, here we go. So it's sort of a modern and smaller version. My rotate button's not working. There we go. Holy smokes! Sort of a modern, smaller version of this. Now this is already a modified version of one of the older stations in the game. And the original one only had the two platforms, and I added these platforms here, and then changed out a lot of the blocks. So this still doesn't look like the original, but from kind of what you can see on screen here, that's sort of the original for the most part, the general design. And this one here is sort of seems kind of similar, at least in the design, where you have like, half of it is spaceship, and then like on one side and the other side is kind of like landing or working area, whatever. And this one was kind of the same. So hello, Bradley. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah. Hey, Bradley. Cool. Yeah. So this one sort of struck me as being a sort of similar design to this, um, kind of in broad strokes. Um, and what I ended up doing was I wanted to repurpose it, and then, but I didn't really have a good purpose for it. And the base that I'm at, I mean, the truth is, I just didn't really need anything, but I thought it was a neat design. So I like the fact that it's this, the sideways, like the left half was the ship and the right half was the platform. Um, but it was sort of too small. It seemed like to really do anything else with. There's not a lot of space inside it. Uh, so what I decided to do was make a sniper ship out of it. I changed the orientation, so now it's in the up down orientation here. I've added some hydrogen thrusters, some additional side thrusters. I got rid of the platform I was just describing. I shaved off the platform off the top up here. And then I've done a little bit of internal work. There's a few empty spots here and there. Like here, of the area that's available in this ship, this is one of the bigger spots. So that may give you an idea of how much how much available space there really isn't inside this thing to work with. I did in here end up hollowing out the bulk of this, the bulk of this area, and unfortunately, because of the way the ship's laid out, I found some space. So let me back up. I found some space right underneath this red section here. I believe there's a 2 by 3 by 3 area. So I put a jump drive in there, which was a tough choice because Bradley, that's a really good idea. So you're suggesting take this red ship and just mirror it and put it on this side. That would be a really badass design. You know what? I may do that. I may just do that because this is, yeah, that's kind of what, like, yeah, this ship, this is just a cool design. Yeah. Yeah, I would probably put it a little bit closer. I couldn't paste them in closer because these stupid turrets are in the way, but yeah. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have to play with that. That's a great idea because I do love the Aragath just has a special kind of talent for the way he uses positive and negative space in his designs. And I just am so, like, I admire it. I'm also jealous of it. I'm envious of it. It's really good. Like how he managed to put these open areas in here. It's so good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna play with that. That was a good call. Thank you. Nice. So anyway, but that'll be later. So for now, um, yeah, what I did was I slapped a jump drive in, and basically that caused a problem trying to fit uh, all the cargo. There's some weapon. I added some weapons and some fuel storage is in the front, but the hydrogen thrusters are in the back. So there was a bit of a challenge getting that conveyed because the jump drive actually comes right down to where these thrusters are. So I figured it out, but it's a little, eh, you know. um, but it is what it is. It's simple. It does have an expensive railgun on it, but otherwise, it's nothing. It's nothing terribly complex. This is the bridge. Let's see. I've got a small cockpit there. I don't know what else to put in here. I don't know what else I might want or need. This is not. This is a glorified fighter. Honestly, is all it is. Um, so maybe what I'll do is I'll just go into my game and build this as is. Because at this point, I'm not really sure what other changes I might want to make. None of the groups, I don't think any of the groups are set up. Um, they all need to be double checked anyways if they are. So yeah, I think I'll just build that as is. This thing, I love this thing. I haven't used this in a long time, but I really love this. It gives off strong like aircraft carrier vibes to me, which, I mean, obviously it has landing pads, but still, I just really like it. All right, so, and I'm going to leave these two bad boys over here because that is a great idea. Um, and leaving these here will remind me. Yeah, I'm going to follow up on that. All right, so that being said, save that so I don't forget. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump on the server. Oh yeah, I've done that. I've done that before. Replacing all the connectors with cargo. Um, that is I won't say that's something I don't like to do, but it is something that I'm usually pretty deliberate about. If it's a bigger ship, I I feel like for the most part I try and avoid that. Um, but for smaller ships, I'll definitely do that. Um, that particular ship already has a single large cargo in it, which is plenty. It's not meant to be a cargo hauler, so cargo space wasn't really a problem. It was just um, the biggest problem I was facing with that is I really wanted to put a large hydrogen tank on there, and I really couldn't fit one. So I did fit, I think, four small. There might be a fifth in there, buried deep, um, which I think ended up being fine. There's only the three forward hydrogen thrusters, and I think two lift thrusters, upwards pushing thrust like hydrogen thrusters. So it doesn't really need that much gas. But yeah, I do that like for my miners. I'll do that a lot. Like I'll use the frame is the made out of cargo as opposed to like small cargo containers instead of just blocks because it's very space efficient. And I like that because on a miner, of course, you want it to be small. So if you tunnel into a hole or something, right? But you want to maximize your cargo. So yeah, 100%. That red ship is just like it doesn't really have a function. I guess it's a sniper that has some cargo, so I can loot things. So maybe it's sort of a quasi raider type vehicle. I don't know. It just looked cool, so I was like, I can't just leave this here floating in space. So there it is down there. So this is on the server. I built a little base for myself. Here is the here's my bedroom. A nice little view. I can see. I think I can see all the planets here. Let's see. Straight ahead there is. I think that's Earth-like. Just off to the right, there's probably Pertam. I think between them, I don't know what. I think I'm gonna get parallax. Um, I'm not sure if between them that is a moon or just a nearby asteroid. And then there's the alien over there. Oh yeah, there it is. That's the planet I was thinking of. That one has a moon. I don't know which it is though. So, anyway, so this is my base. Got some automated doors. How are we looking? Oof. Got a bathroom. So something weird. When I first built this base, and for several sessions afterwards, every time I came in here to open this door, it would vent the station. I don't know why. These there's only 2 blocks here. The blocks are airtight and they were fully built. But it would vent the station. Anyway, doesn't do that anymore, so that's nice. Excuse me. Let's run outside. Oh, let's get my things. And I see my ping's pretty high. That is likely because I'm streaming. Normally my ping on the server is about, it's in the it's below 100. It's usually somewhere around like 80 or so. It looks like right now it's, oops, wrong button. Yeah, it sucks. Half-second delay. Ugh. All right, cool. So we have a little balcony here. And there is the patrol craft docked up for power. We've got solar. That was how we started. There we go. Yeah, we laid the foundation. Got solar power up and running, and then from here we just progressed out. Dropped in some refineries, some cargo. Continued to expand this way. Built around the edge of the asteroid. Threw in. There's one small hydrogen and oxygen. These were from the original construction. Before it expanded out, got more. This is basically fuel production, ice storage. Then we've got fuel storage and hydrogen power generation. And then come down here, we've got habitat where I just was, lots more cargo. And then down here we have the production platform. So we've got more refineries, our assemblers, and the server has build and repair. Build and repair is not something I normally use in my games. I did make an exception when I was refurbishing the green base, just because I didn't use it very often. But I don't have any moral objections to it. So the server has it, so I'm going to use it. There's no block limit, so go nuts. So it looks like I've dropped in 7 there. I do have, so under here I've got, there's a defense block, and then the base has been blueprinted. So and then I've got some timers set up so that when the defense block makes contact with anything hostile, it turns on all the projectors for the base and the builds and repairs. And the build and repair area is centered on the base itself, so it basically becomes self-repairing as long as there's an enemy within like 2.5, whatever the contact distance is, 2.5 kilometers, I think. And then when it loses contact, everything shuts down. So I like doing that. So if something comes in to give me a hard time, all the repair systems are on, and it mitigates damage a lot. All right, so there's that guy, and then we've got our miner down here. This originally started out as a space pod. You can see 2 or 3 of the blue blocks from the original space pod. It's still there. And then the red ship that I'm working on here. And this is, now the one I just loaded in the creative server is a little bit farther along than this, because I got this far and then I was like, I don't really know what I want to do. So I'll pop it to creative and tinker with it. Ah, hello, new person. So, I think what I'll do, let's do this. Let's get some resources, materials. All right, steel. And I have mixed feelings about this, but what usually happens whenever I do start to redesign something and I get to the point where I'm like, I'm just going to take it into creative and do the design and then come back and build it, is I so thoroughly redesign it that I end up basically tearing down the original thing completely in the actual game. This is the original, like where the original orientation platform would have been right here where these conveyors are, and it extends out like towards the camera, and then you land on it and you could come into here, and this was like the interior. They had an air vent, there was like some closets or storage, there was a turret here so you could access that. There's like a turret that way, and then I think, I don't know, somehow you basically came up into here, so where the bridge was. So I think what I'm going to do is I will place a projector and goodbye. All right, so the tricky part is how much of this do I need to replace? Now, I know that stuff right behind the cargo became a jump drive. One 150. So I don't think the best way to do this. Let's turn on the build and repair and grind things down. Boop. All right, good. And this arm out here and the conveyor system is, I just added that. So this used to just be a beam block that was replaced with conveyor access. So, or with conveyor. So that's why the projector blueprint is not up to date there. All right, let's see. I know these are going to go. That stays. All right. You know what? I think I'm gonna. I think either way, either I grind most of it down and rebuild most of the thing, or I try and piece by piece grab the pieces that need to be changed. I think it's going to be about the same amount of work. So it's going to come down to now, which is actually going to be faster. That's interesting. So chasing down something like that, whatever that is, that's sort of what I was thinking this might be for. It's a little underpowered as far as thrust goes, but that's sort of what I was thinking I might use it for. Do it here. Most of this is fine. This is fine. No, that's fine. So this will be, I'll end up probably just putting the projector right here because I know that's consistent on both builds. I think there's stuff here. Oh, you know what? I can set this to grind only. Oh, come on now. What? There we go. Do grinding only, and then I can build a projector that'll help me identify what needs to change. Okay. Oh, right, left, right. Let's put it like that. Yeah. Come on. Wow. All right, cool. So, uh,
Energy low.
let's check. I want to make sure this thing's empty. Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and disconnect it. Oh no, no, no! I need the power. This right now, this Hulk doesn't have any batteries. It had one. It had one battery and one small reactor when I salvaged it. I threw it both out. When you ask what this stream is about, are you asking like in general, or this specific one that I'm doing right this moment? I guess I don't need to wait for an answer. I can just address both. So, in general, I like to. Oh, at the moment, okay. Um, at the moment, this is just streaming for the sake of of streaming and playing some Space Engineers. There's nothing deeper to it. This is a game that I've been playing on a server. I started a couple weeks ago with a small group of friends. Um, and the reason there's not much to it is just because I just finished a big series, or for me a big series, and that is a lot of like mental demand. So this is sort of just like something like light and easy and fun to do. Give myself like a little bit of a break while I plan out the next thing that I want to do. So, but I want to stay in the habit of doing something on Mondays, doing some sort of streaming, and having some sort of content to show. And so that's what I'm working with right now. And depending, it just kind of, so like this one, and then like the last week, it just kind of just comes down to whatever I'm feeling like. Last week was a refit of this space pod I did on a previous playthrough. Um, I think the previous week I wasn't able to stream at all for whatever reason. Um, but part of the reason I like to do the streams, even if I'm not doing like like a proper series or anything, is this is an opportunity for me to sort of, on the one hand, play and have fun, and then on the other hand, why does it keep telling me that? On the other hand, I usually, as I play, tend to sort of talk about different parts of like, or pieces of like game aspects of game design and game development, and just playing sort of organically brings up topics usually when I get frustrated with something, and it gives me an opportunity to sort of to talk about those things and just share the knowledge that I have, or the experiences that I have, or even just opinions that I have on whatever. So so I like, so even if I don't have an active like storyline going, I still like to sort of keep in the habit of doing the whatever it is I'm trying to do. The keep in the habit of streaming regularly, I guess you could say. Yeah. And it's good practice for me. Actually, streaming and talking at the same time is actually pretty challenging. Trying to be intelligent and coherent while you're doing something else, you're doing two things at the same time. And this is going to sound weird, but I find that, so I am working on a private pilot license, and I find that there's actually a lot of similarity in flying an airplane and like literally flying, like controlling the airplane and keeping it level and not crashing, and doing everything else you have to do, like, looking up the radio frequencies you need to be on for the area you're approaching, and looking up the info for like an airport that you're approaching, that you plan to land at, finding out information about like, well, what way are the runways heading, what's the weather like, what are the winds like, what's the wind direction, what's the field elevation, what altitude do I need to come in at, am I going to need to like plan my approach, do I need to fly over the airport and then circle around to come in to right, enter the traffic pattern the right way, or like there's different ways to enter that pattern. There's a lot of things you need to think about, and all at the same time you are watching outside, trying to pay attention to the terrain, right? And other aircraft, if they're in the area, you're always watching for aircraft and birds. And then you're also trying to watch inside. You're trying to watch your gauges. There's like 6 main gauges you have to look at. Make sure you're level, going the right way, you're at the right altitude. And there's specific altitudes you have to maintain depending on which way you're going, and all that. So it's a lot to keep in track. It's a lot to keep in your mind and keep track of. At the same time, you're on the radio talking to people. So you're doing a lot of really rapid context switching. And so and it's easy to get overwhelmed. It's called task saturation, and part of the reason I like to stream is because it's similar, right? You're trying to play the game thoughtfully and intelligently. You're also trying to give commentary thoughtfully and intelligently, and also interact with the audience thoughtfully and intelligently. So you kind of have three different aspects going on. So, so yeah. So even though I don't have I'm not currently working on like a explicit series or storyline right now. Um, I do like to continue trying to stream just to get some practice in on that rapid context switching and staying sharp and all that. So that's what's going on. And today I decided that I would jump in and turn my little drone loose to see how it works, and also work on retrofitting, this chip that we were looking at earlier. So uh, that is that is a very long explanation for something that probably didn't have to be that long. But like I said, when you're doing a bunch of things at once, it you get overwhelmed real fast. What's this? All right, I think all that stayed the same. I don't even know if these changed or stayed the same. So I know that stayed. I think at this point, especially for this back end, I think I did change a lot. God, the lag is so bad. Yeah, I changed this too. Right. Let's see, I know I went in here. Now on the one side, so there's these thrusters that point inward, which I think is pretty cool. But I ended up turning them around simply because there's space to add two. Oh my god. I'm sorry for all the swaying back and forth. There's a horrible lag. Um, go away. So there's space to add two more thrusters, which I did, and then I just thought it'd be cool to have all three pointing outward. So there, and on the one side when I changed it, I ended up disconnecting the nacelle. And like how I like how he made the nacelles up. Damn it! Out of these blocks here, to create that angle. That's really nice. Goodness, too much. I've never tried to stream and play on this server at the same time. Um, I was naively hoping it would not be this bad, but I can't say that I'm terribly surprised. The last couple of times I've tried to stream and play online, um, I had a similar problem. I had similar lag. Oh man, I gotta be honest. This kind of sucks. The nice news, for whatever it's worth, is that the area where I live is in the process of installing some sort of fiber optic internet cable
Energy low.
infrastructure. So, I mean, that's nice. Whenever that's done, I have no idea what the time frame on that is. Um, or actually, I know the installation of the, like, I can see them out there laying cables. Oh, the battery's still here. It was just on recharge. Oh well. The reactor I mentioned was in here, and I did remove that. Anyway, I think they're almost done installing the physical infrastructure. I don't know how long it'll be until I can actually have high quality internet service. Um, but I know at least that we're getting there, so that's nice. So maybe this won't be. Maybe this will end in the near future. Very nice. So what I'm thinking is I've got most of the back here set to be ground down, and the back I think is where most of the changes I made were. Don't think. Let's see. I'll get rid of. Yeah, this is where the jump drive was. So yeah, let's have to go. Uh oh. Is this? Oh, I don't think that's connected. I don't think that entire front part is connected anymore. Oops. Oh crap. Yeah, I think that is. Oops. Well,
Energy critical.
oh shit. All right. Well, I mean, it like it only bothers me because like the whole reason I took the approach that I took was because I thought I could save myself a little bit of time not grinding this part down, but I guess not. Oh, would it be faster to grind it myself and let Bar pick it up? Oh, I didn't. You know what? I forgot it. I forgot Bar does that. Yeah, maybe. uh, let's see. Build. Make sure that that's the janitor function. Let me make sure that's on. Grind only is fine. Settings for grinding. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's grinding. Okay. Or is that not something you can control? It just automatically does that.
No energy.
Build. I totally forgot you could do that. Like push, push. Oh, that's not a setting. It's just it just always does that. Okay, well, let's try it. Is it faster? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Honestly, maybe it is. Yeah, in the other game where I was using the builds and repairs. Um, yeah, I did that a lot because in my mind, like in that game, that was like a core element of the game that I was playing. It's like I'm here to refurbish the space, which means I'm grinding down and repair and rebuilding everything, um, and I'm doing a lot of it, right? So so I had deliberately installed the mod, and my head was in the game with it. And on this one, like I joined the server, I had no idea what mods they had. Um, to be completely honest, I still don't know what mods they have. Um, and then I saw it, I saw someone else using it, and I was like, oh, okay, we've got that. So I just sort of was like, well, might as well use it,
Inventory
and
full.
did not think any deeper about it. Someone just now telling me that.
Inventory full. 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 Inventory
I guess
full.
hearing the lady talk.
Inventory full.
There's that.
Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full.
So other than the build and repair, I have the impression that the server is
Inventory full. Inventory
pretty
full.
vanilla.
Inventory full. Inventory full.
Like they don't have any
Full.
they don't have any
Inventory
MES
full.
mods on here,
Inventory full.
which I had talked about in another stream. I I think that's cool because
Full. Inventory full.
the vanilla game
Inventory
NPCs just got a major overhaul,
full.
and I haven't had a chance to experience them yet. So
Inventory full.
that was another part of the reason I captured this ship, because I was like, oh, it looks neat. I've never seen it before. Let's see what they got.
Inventory full. 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 Inventory
Energy
full.
low.
Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory
Cool. All right, almost there. Sort of. I don't know. I don't know if this is faster. I think it's close. Either way.
Energy critical. No energy.
So Bradley, you're saying it's faster. So manually grinding and letting clean up, letting the janitor pick up the stuff. It's faster than relying on one build and repair, scrap things. But it is more tedious. So for convenience, most people are willing to wait. I see. Yeah, so they just paint it and then just wait for it to grind it down. And then you're saying the build and repair uses tier 2 speeds, but if you have 2 or more, then the build and repairs are faster. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I could have used merge blocks and nudge and another ship. But given the lag and I just didn't want to mess with it. I find that um, most of the time messing with merge blocks is just asking for problems. A twitch of the hand or a little bump and things go floating away. You got to chase them down.
Inventory
I
full.
don't know. It's certainly like I'm not trying to make it sound like it's impossible or anything like that. Obviously, people do it all the time.
Full.
I just find that for the most part,
Inventory full.
it's just as
Inventory
fast
full.
and reliable
Inventory
to
full.
grind things down and
Full. Inventory full.
rebuild what I want.
Full.
But yeah, that's an option. I could have done that.
Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full.
I've got the high tier tools. I've got 7 build and repairs, working for me. So I think for the most part, it's 6 of one, half dozen another. Just depending on how you like to do things. Yeah.
Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full.
All right. Is this red even attached anymore? I'm not sure it is. I don't think it is.
Inventory full.
So yeah, so basically what I'm going to do to refurbish this ship is grind away everything
Inventory full.
and then rebuild the thing from a projector.
Inventory full.
And it won't be the first time I've done that.
Inventory full. Inventory full.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Inventory.
There we go.
Full. Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full.
All right, perfect. So now that I have it down to its core essentials. Oh man. All right, everything's on blueprints. And I don't think I've renamed it yet. There you are. Oh, All right, that's sucks. All right, you are oriented that way. So let's see. Vertical would be yep. It's nice. And let's see. Let's pitch. Perfect. Y'all. All right, cool. And then here, horizontal, we can line up. Oh, wrong one. There we go. And right there. Cool. Ah, very close. So close. And boop, right there. Awesome. And come on. Let's make sure that stays there. Cool. Let's get these to work. Build and repair. And we'll do. We'll leave it to that. There is nothing to grind, so it should just get started. Build my stuff. There is, in vanilla game, there is a way to paint the whole ship at once. Yes. However, this server is using the paint gun, and the paint gun mod disables that functionality. So, could not do that. Yeah. All right, so let's see. This actually give me an opportunity to sort of fly inside, get a better idea of what it's made out of. So, for example, I see there's this basically row of nothing blocks. All right, it's good to know. I need to remember that for future reference. I never really thought about in a survival game just taking a blueprint of something and then projecting it somewhere so you can literally go inside and look at stuff. Yeah, it's handy. This ship in particular was kind of weird um, because it looks like there's a lot more volume than there is because of these slopes, at least to me. Um, they sort of give the impression that there's a lot of interior space, but there really wasn't. Not if you want to keep the shape, you know. Yeah. All right, there's the jump drive. Yeah, I think this will be fine. I think what I'll need to do, or what I should do, is probably equip it with the magnetic plates so I can use to grab stuff. If this is the only role I've sort of come up with it for is with a long range gun and a little bit of, and I mean, a large cargo is not, that's nothing to sneeze at. It's definitely not a cargo ship, but you know, it's not nothing. This does sort of seem like something I might go out and snipe all this all this random garbage that's around me, and then drag it back for either for salvage or refit. So to facilitate that, I might want to add some magnetic plates somewhere so I can just drag things back. Ouch. Not a big fan of it staying red like this, but it's okay. Right on. So while that's working, I'm going to drop off my extra materials. Get topped off over here. And I guess for good measure, I'll even medic myself up here. There we go. Good as new. And so that's building. Let's see if this drone is capable of wandering without smashing into the base. Okay, disconnect.
No fuel.
Power. Thrusters and gyros. Alrighty. Now, I believe I did. Okay, great. Build and repair needed a color nobody will pick for their system. Now comes a guy with a ship in that color. Passes placement. You only have to. A guy with a ship in that color passes a BNR replacement only to have his ship deleted. How would you react? How would I react? If some random person parked their ship that was hot pink inside my build and repair field and then it got ground down, I mean, I'd probably think it was kind of funny. um, but it really, truthfully, it really depends. Like who is that random person? Are they a friend of mine? Are they a stranger? Are they hostile? You know, the build and repair field is pretty small. Well, I have it. Actually, I don't think it's effectively pretty small the way I have it here. So like, I have it surrounding the base. Oh, sorry, the sun makes it kind of hard to see. Goodness. Let me out. Let me out. Come on. So I have the build and repair field set up to enclose the base, and it sticks out to, I don't even know if it sticks all the way out to the end of this ship, but it's somewhere around here is like the end of it. So most of it's actually in the rock. So if you're going to be in the zone, you got to be pretty close to my stuff, like right around here. I'm not even sure this guy is in the field anymore. I guess I can just turn it on. Turn the field on and see. Oh yeah, I guess he is. All right. It's just a little bit bigger than I was thinking. But I do think that if you are within these fields, like, so you're here. I mean, why are you so close to my base, right? Again, it depends. It depends. I think if it was like a friend who just decided that hot pink was awesome and they parked their ship next to me, and it got ground down, you know, I'd apologize and then you know, offer to rebuild it if they had a projector, you know, or they had a blueprint. Just like, you know, we'll build it back up. Sorry about that. But I also don't normally leave my build and repair fields on. So it's on right now because I'm building that. But normally it's off. I don't leave them on by default. So that's a pretty unlikely scenario, but the devil is in the details, obviously. Oh shit. Really like to. Yep. Come on, come on. All right. Let's do this. I want my lights main, lights nav. Oh, those can go. Okay. Docking. Shit. That's the nav. Okay. All right. Magnetic plates here. Let's lock. But I think in general, my reaction would probably be that's kind of funny. Um, because be, because it's hard for me to imagine being on a server that has build-in repair on it and not being aware of that, especially if you're at the point where you've built a ship that's large enough and capable enough to go visit another player. If you did all that and on a server that has build and repair and somehow never noticed or realized that there's build and repair, it just seems unlikely. Um, so I would feel really bad if that happened. But yeah, if that scenario actually happened, and then someone was also like, "Yes, dark hot pink is where it's at," I would, yeah, I'll probably just laugh. All right, let's see. Thrusters and gyros off. Taxi stuff on. So that gives me one thruster in each direction and one gyro. So drastically reduced power. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can in any automated system, it's almost a given. You can come up with an edge case that causes havoc. So, yeah. But like I said, I don't normally leave my build and repair on. So, that is unlikely to happen. At the very least, that's unlikely to happen while I'm not around. Um, yeah, but if it did, it's just I'll just be like, "What? Sorry," you know. And it offered I mean, obviously, if the build and repair ground it down, I'd have the resources, so I could just build it back up for them. You know, it's not a big deal. Uh, but yeah, in most cases, that just seems kind of funny to me. Because again, that's also like in order for that to happen, like so many like that person that the victim in that scenario would have had to have done so many things to go out of their way to make that happen that I'm not gonna have a lot of sympathy because I'm like, you deliberately painted your ship the one color that all the build and repairs default to, and then you went to someone else's base, and in my case, the build and repair blocks are in the open. You can see they're there. You can see they're on if you look at them. Like, it's just like I don't have a lot of room for sympathy for that. I mean, inside, I think if that actually happened, I would be pretty. I'd be like, damn. Oh man, I feel like the fact that it happened, I would feel pretty bad about it. But like in the abstract, I'm like, ooh, that's hard. That's hard to imagine. All right, what's that guy doing? Processing ship. It looks kind of like a bug. See, can I this? All right. Custom aux main. CTC. There we go. Let's take control of that. Like, I'm not trying to be a jerk, right? And if it genuinely happened, I would be very sympathetic and try and help the person. Um, but I would also probably laugh about it, like because because what are the odds? Where's the damn control button? Custom data, setup action, add tool, move tool. Where's the, why is there not a control button? What's going on? Can I not? Can you not control a custom turret controller remotely? Is that what's going on? I wanted to look. I wanted to. Oh my god! I wanted to remote to my miner because it has a turreted telescope, so I could get a good look at that ship that was going by. I don't need that on. Huh? I don't know why I couldn't do that remotely. Huh? Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. Edge cases always can always they can almost always be funny for sure. Yeah. All right. Well, jump out of there. All right. So, we are here, and docking light off. All right, main lights off. Let's see. Since I'm not going anywhere, get rid of all of that. I hate having all that shit on my screen. It's a little better. All right, that's all off. See, thrusters, the jump drive that can stay off. Ore detector and projector can be off. Tanks are on distribute. Okay, that's great. And they are topped off. Weapons are all on. Okay, so if I go defense and we are already set. Oh, that's curious. I know I've clicked this before. It would be nice if there was something that told you what the current like waypoint is. All right, so we turn it on. Boop. There he goes, slow boating out. Now his wander area, I believe, is like 1 to 2,000. Scroll, yeah, yeah, 1 to 2,000 meters. That's interesting. There's a green. All right, so there's 1 kilometer. What is that green? Is that his navigation waypoint? I think it must be. Okay, that's cool. All right, 1.34. So now when I first was working on configuring this, in the creative game, there was a point at which I set this and said, all right, do your thing. And it proceeded to fly 16 kilometers away from the area it's supposed to wander around. Oh, good. Awesome. You know what? It seems to be good. So let's do this. Let's shut all that down. Let's set the patrol to be a bit closer. Let's do 300 and 600. Let's see how that works. It's heading back. That's great. It would be very cool if asteroids were movable and you could convert them into ships. That would be cool. But yeah, you're right. Um, People would crash them into each other and onto planets. Yep. 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 Hello, Pimpin. All right. Now, what did I set this to? I set this to 3 to 600. The movement is set to 50 meters a second. We're in 3 to 600 range now. And it looks like it's slowing down. I'm glad it respects that I've turned off most of the thrusters and gyros. I had doubts about whether it would do that or not. Now it goes somewhere else. That's cool. So yeah, so here's kind of the problem with the current setup is even on taxi power, it's got between 2 and 3 hours of power. Um, Now I can prolong that by turning on the reactors, but then I'm burning uranium, which in principle I like to avoid if I can. But this is pretty cool. I like this. So I suppose something I can do. I don't know if I have any. I don't have any unused event controllers, but something I could do is I could put an event controller on here, keep it running on batteries, and say like when power gets to say 10%, turn on a beacon, or what is it? The broadcast. I could add a broadcast controller, and then I could just say, hey, my power's low, and then I could come out and get it, and dock it to charge it back up. It's pretty cool though. All right, I feel like you're doing what you're supposed to do. That's pretty cool. Little patrol boat. Yeah, that's very cool. Very cool. All right, this thing is now done. Oh my god. Oh my god. Killing me. Turn this off. Oop. That will help a little bit. There he goes. That's really cool. I like it. And then of course at some point I could add I guess a task block and an event controller. I would need I think 2 event controllers. I would need a task block to make it dock. Right, to set up a landing path for it to dock, and then a task block to make it, or an event controller to activate the task block when it gets low in power, and then I guess another. I don't know if I need a second task block or not, but basically another event controller for sure when its power is topped off to undock it. I don't know if it would if I just turn on the patrol block while it was sitting right here, if it would be smart enough to get away from the grid before turning or whatever. Because I feel like it would just be like oh, I want to go to the left, and just bam, turn to the left and smack its ass over into the conveyors there. I feel like that's what it would do. All right, that's super cool having it over there. Let's see. I can turn this off now as well. Boop. And nothing. All right, here. There. Unlock. Oh. Cool. Oh yeah, that's twitchy. Cool, 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 cool. All right, let's see. We got 12% on the hydrogen. Batteries are at about 30%. All right, Bradley. Well, thanks for hanging out. Get some sleep. Have a good day at work and all that. And I'll see you later, man. Take care. Boom. All right. Gyros. Go and stay. This is pretty long, given what it is. It looks neat, though. Oh, oh, how'd that happen? All right, let's do. Let's see. FHIJ1 T2, and we'll do Raider Sniper. Yeah, we do have a beacon. Wait a minute. Beacon. I know there's a beacon on here. Oh, wait, maybe it's called. Yeah. All right. Put you at 5,000. Ready? All right, let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Bad. Here. There we go. Busters. Ah, hydrogen. Here we go. Boosters. Boosters. Oh, thanks, Bradley. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you very much. Oh, it's my kitties. All right. And oh man, I miss. There's a mod that lets you rename things very easily. That's not on here. I really miss it. Okay, so boosters. There we go. All right. Oof. This is why people build ships that and you go look at them and they have like all the numbers after them. It's because it's such a pain in the ass to keep the names correct. I use a mod to clean this up. Basically, it'll let me like reassign the name on multiple blocks at once, so I can select all these and say ion, like rename to ion thruster, or it'll let you add a prefix or a suffix, or it'll let you, like I tried to do a second ago, it'll let you just reset the name to the default. So like this would just become ion thruster, or like that beacon, it was mobile shipyard or whatever. It would become round beacon, which is the default name. It's really handy for keeping your builds clean and organized. And as a programmer, good naming conventions are incredibly important to me. And if there's any kind of friction to having good naming conventions or or cleaning and organizing your work, people won't do it because there's already enough friction in the first place to cleaning and organizing work that any additional friction on top, it's just not going to happen. These guys can go. I should probably, if this is a sniper, we can't have two twos. That won't do. Let's do that. Let's make this one the all right, we'll make him the stabilizer. Those stabilizers. All right, so if this one is on override, can we turn it? Nope. Oh, he came out to visit me. Sweet. Okay, can't turn it. So let's add in him. Oh wait, no, I'm going the wrong way. If I can't turn it. There we go. Let's bring this down then. So what I'm doing is, oh my goodness. These are on, right? Yeah, they are. Okay. So what I'm doing is when uh-oh. All right, hold all those thoughts. You did that, didn't you? You're in the area, it's damaged, and you're damaged. Yep. All right, that is really disappointing. That's what I was worried about. Anything over here? That is really, really disappointing. Man. So it looks like you just like to live dangerously, huh? You're gonna hit my miner, aren't you? Wow, you are really pushing it, aren't you? I would love to get in here. But every time I get close, the lag fucking kills me. And it's not a case of like I can dampen to the thing, but it's still not letting me in. There we go. Wow. What a disappointment. I mean, I guess the block was working. In that it was flying around. But if it's gonna hit my stuff, you know, that's no good. And I know I had collision avoidance on, so it all goes back to the same complaint I always have. The blocks are unreliable. You know, the AI blocks, they're a neat idea. When they work, that's pretty cool. But they never work consistently, or and they never do everything that they're told to do. You know, like yeah, it was going around and patrolling stuff. That was pretty awesome. But you know, they turn around and smash into the base. That's useless.
Fuel.
You know, that there. I'll leave the weapons on, and we'll connect. Actually, we'll just do this. We'll just turn these guys on. All right, did you get fixed? Oh, that was really fast. Nice. Good job. And you? You're getting fixed right now. And granted, it is fortunate that it was not a hard bump, but still, if the best thing you can say is, well, the crash wasn't that bad, I mean, you know, that's still crap. All right, so I'm just going to leave it over there then. And all right, that's off again. Let's go back over here. So what I was working on was stabilization. Um, I'll add a camera to aim the railgun. Oh, there's not a good spot really. I like to keep it like normally I would put it here. I like to keep it as close as possible to the gun, but that's fine. Do I have? I do not have tools. Anyway, when you're zoomed in with the camera, um, if the ship is even like small, what would normally be small movements with the ship can be really big movements while you're zoomed in. And so what I like to do is add um, a few gyros to a separate group called stabilizer, and then when I switch to the camera, I'll toggle those on, and they basically reduce the power of the gyros. So the ship, it's the movement is smaller when you're aiming. Let's see. Camera. Boop. Go. Hmm. This thing's really big. For what it is, it's really big. All right. Ah, Jesus. I'm not sure I'm ever gonna do this again. I'm not sure I'm gonna try and stream and be on a server again. Right on. So all the batteries are there. Turret. Fence. Yep. Yep. Nope. Yep. 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 Sure. And I guess weapons. Sure. Or actually, honestly, I don't know. We'll make it. Yeah. I guess off. And with that, 1, 2, 3. And usually I'll add an event controller to monitor all my little PDC guns to let me know when they're low on ammo. Here, groups, we'll do batteries on and off. Oh, shoot. Rail. You hold 500 kilowatts of power. which means one battery will give you 6 shots. There's only 4 batteries on here, so this probably needs some reactors. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, this design definitely isn't done. There are still challenges to work through on that. So yeah. Let's see. FJ. Yeah. So like here, this was a purpose-built ship. This is a ship that was purpose-built from the ground up. It's basically the same thing, except it's about half the length. It has 2 railguns and a lot more thrust. But it's basically the same thing, right? It's a sniper and nothing else. So I don't know about this ship. It's really cool looking. This red is awful though. This is off, right? All right. Yeah. I don't know. I did like that idea. Uh, the idea of putting 2 of these side to side. That would be cool looking. Would be really cool looking. Maybe I'll tinker around with the design like that to make it like like my daily driver, you know? So like not a specialized ship, not a do anything ship, but just my like, oh, let me go visit the faction base, right? And I need something to show up, something that'll get me there and back, and maybe haul a little cargo if I need to. Yeah, it's a really cool design. But I also want to go and see what else there is out here. Right? Where are solar barge? I've seen a private sail and a mining carriage. I'm pretty sure I've seen a solar barge. I've never seen or 3 puller that I know of. I don't want to go look at that. Let's go have a look at that. Ah, all right. Separate, battery, power, drift. And do I have a camera? I do have a spotlight. You can use those as a camera. Let's do this. It's not close enough yet. All right. Oh wait, that's not. Did I turn? Wait a minute. Shit. Did, did I just? Did my brain just break and I head to the wrong guy? That's what I wanted to look at. Hmm. Oh, that's the one from the trailer. The one that has the cargo in the back that it lets go if it gets scared. I think. I'm slowing down. Okay. All right. Oh, yeah. I don't think I want to bother with that, especially since it's still alive. What else? I've seen a mining carriage, solar barge, solar barge. Wrong button. All right. Nearest thing is the military munitions drone, although I suspect. Oh, he's shooting at me. Oh, dude. Oh, wow. I got really close to him. I kind of thought the 12 ions would be enough to get me stopped pretty fast, but guess not. Dented garbage. All right. Anyway, if it's dead in the water and out of power, I drag him back home. Shit, where'd he go? There he is. Oh, he's alive too. All right, that's a shame. Look at him though. That's the other guy. Yeah. Hmm. All right. Well, regardless, he's still alive, so I don't want to mess with him. I kind of suspected most of the white signals around me were dead. I've been on the server about 2 weeks now, maybe three, and the whites. It doesn't seem like the white signals have ever changed. So I've kind of assumed they spawned and then just ran out of power. Um, hmm. I guess that doesn't make sense though, right? I guess if they're out of power, I wouldn't see this signal because these signals are provided by beacons. I didn't think about that. I was just thinking it was a gameism, where they're like, "Hey, there's a thing over here." Now that I do think about it, I realize that that red ship that I was just messing with at my base, when I found that, I was prospecting and I just saw something in the distance like that. There was no signal. Yeah, like that. Let's go see what that is. Oh, hello, new people. So what it is, it's kind of head on. I do see a gun. That's, you know, so it was a Gatling. So assuming there's nothing else. Oh wait, and I have a signal from it now. Gonna start shooting at me. I meant to go on the other side of it. Wow. Oh, it's the design. I like the tail fins on that. That's kind of neat. I don't know how much good it'll do to park on this side of it. I imagine if it comes alive, wants to shoot me, it'll just roll to bring that gun to bear, but we'll see. How are you doing? Batteries look dead. That's a good sign. Oh, that's nice. Like that ramp heading up to the cockpit there, or the bridge. Sweet. I like how they've mixed the thruster types here. This adds some nice greebling behind this beam. And this fits real nice in there. It's real nice. Now, is this the one that drops? It's cargo? I don't think so. This is really cool though. I think this will make a fine addition to my collection. Since it's dead, hopefully it's not got some insidious little sleeper timer sensor whatever going on. But it really does look dead. The batteries all look dead. So since it's dead and I didn't bring there's a mod here that'll let you hack things. I've never used it. Well, I used it. The only time I've ever used it before was capturing that other red ship. But basically, you build. There's a special component that you manufacture, and then you use that to build a computer that hacks a grid for you. It's not immediate. It takes some time. I like the way it's been implemented. And you need that special component to build the thing. And I didn't bring any, so I think I'm just gonna haul this back to base. I think it'll be fine since the batteries appear to be dead. All right, there's taxi power. There we go. Man, I hate when that happens. All right, cool. Base is up there. Oh, that's some weird sluggishness going on there. And it gave me a white signal briefly. So I'm going to make some assumptions here. One, that is in fact out of power, which seems to be supported by the evidence. I saw the battery, or the two batteries I could see were red. And then I'm also going to assume that this is by default a neutral grid, which means oh, I was going to say which means the base defenses won't shoot it, but I kind of forgot. I'm in the base defenses right now. So, so I guess if they didn't shoot it already, I don't have anything to worry about. The build and repair systems are off. But I'll have to check how they're set, see how they react to this, because I'm not sure if they are set to grind this down or just leave it alone or what. I don't remember. Oh, goodbye to the other person who left. And the other people who are on the server right now, it's a very small group of us, and their play style right now seems to basically be to capture things and make them yours. Um, so I'm on board with that. When I started out, I just I found an asteroid, set up shop, started mining, built up my production, built the things I needed, a miner, and then this little defense ship. So now I feel like I can get down to the actual business of collecting things. Let's prepare to stop. Damn. Too much. Stop. Goodness. This seems fine. Stop. 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 Yeah. All right. Yeah. Question is, can I let him go, or my gripper's gonna do the? Yeah. Good. Here we go. Go. All right. Let's get this thing docked. Smash it into something. Hmm. Terrible. Come on. Oh my goodness. Wow. All right. All right, cool. You're connected. Everything off. Batteries and recharge.
Fuel.
Lights. Main lights off. Yep. Docking light. I guess I can turn that on. All right. Thrusters. Jump drive. Projector. Oh, it doesn't have hydrogen engines. Hydrogen thrusters. It does have hydrogen engines. Okay. All right. So tanks are on stockpile. The turrets are on. That's fine. Quarter detector is off. Cool. So we'll connect that. Cool. All right. Now this guy. I think I'm going to scrap this. I hate to say it. The very same stream that I worked on refurbishing it and building it. I think I'm going to scrap it. Let's see. Who owns this? Can I see that? Oh, I need to build. I'll build a hacking computer. So here. And they don't seem to need, which is weird but also makes sense. Like, it's electronic, it would be, you would make sense to be like, of course it needs power. But for something like this, it would mean, oh, in order for this to work, I've got to now add a battery to this grid. It's kind of like how connectors used to need used to need power to work. It made sense, but in practice, it was just annoying. And when they got rid of it, it was so much nicer. All right, cool. So I'm gonna wait for that. I think to be safe, I will remove this. 150. Oh, can't paint enemy ships. All right. All right, that's fine. Where did I put that computer? Here it is. So what this does is this progressively attempts to like hack all the different functional blocks. I don't really know the mechanism behind it, but I see that it's failing periodically, so it's not automatic. It also takes a while. So I really don't know the details of how this mod works, but it's cool. You know, yeah, I think I like it. I think I like it so far. I don't have much to say about it, I guess. Okay. This is a neat little ship. I don't really like these windows, um, but it did make it work here. All right. In the meantime, all right. Let's check the builds and repair. Let's see what they do to neutral ships because I'd like to turn those on. How do I have these set to handle neutral welding? grinding. Janitor grinds neutrals. That's off. Off. I think that's good then. I think that's what I want. Cool. So I think I need to paint that whole thing. Interesting. It seems like the sync issues I have only seem to happen when I'm close to things. I think I really like the design. I think I need to wait until I've got a clearer idea of what I want to do with it. It looks like it would be like a really mean, like long range kind of sniping ship or something. But I know after I placed the first railgun down, or the railgun down, I realized that the only other place to put another one was kind of like right behind it, which obviously doesn't work. I could put, I mean, there's room to put them like 3 side by side. Maybe that's what it needs, but then there's still like there's this massive area of all this that doesn't really have anything useful in it. So the ship already has insufficient power. It's got power issues. So adding 2 more railguns is gonna, like, not that it's not that the problems can't be solved, but it means that the problem that needs to be solved is even bigger now. And I guess, I mean, the game's simple, right? There's only there's not a whole lot of options to solve power problems. You put more batteries, more reactors, or solar panels won't do it. You can add hydrogen engines. Normally, I like that solution, but for things like jump drives and railguns, that's just not enough. You would need so many, which would be fine for a bigger ship. I think that's kind of cool. You know, it's almost like a self-justification. Like, well, why is it a big ship? Because it has all this power. Why does it need all this power? Because it's a big ship. You know. But it sort of works out. But I'm not sure a ship this size, the way it's designed, I do think it would be a tough challenge to fit all the hydrogen engines that you would need on it in order to provide power for 3 railguns and a jump drive and maneuvering, since it's an ion-powered ship. So it's got some inherent issues that need to be addressed. And I think for something like this, I find that it helps when I have an idea of like what is it supposed to do, because that usually informs my other decisions. You know, like I don't normally like, for example, I don't normally like to use reactors, right? But if it's a combat ship, then I'm more inclined. I don't like to use reactors, but I'm more inclined to make an exception and be like, yeah, okay, it's a combat ship. It needs to have, you know, be as fast, tough, and powerful as possible, right? That's the idea. So, you know, for whatever its mission is. So I'm more willing to do that. As a matter of fact, I think as far as ships that I've built in survival go, I think the only time I've ever added reactors to a ship was a ship, and that was pretty recently. That was in the Green Base refurbish, the Project Gamma. I did. And I think that was probably the first time I've ever actually built reactors in a game, like in a survival game. And I feel like I like the challenge of building without reactors for a lot of things, especially like rovers and stuff. You don't need reactors, you know. I mean, maybe for big ones, but I feel like there's not a whole lot in the game like to game mechanically that needs to be done to drive designs, right? So you basically have things that haul cargo, things that mine ore, and then you have things that refine ore into ingots, and then things that put ingots make ingots into materials, right? And then the last thing is things that fight other things. And outside of that, there's not really a whole lot the game really needs you or asks you to do. So I find that that actually makes building larger ships harder for me, because at a certain size in the game, um, there's not much point to building anything bigger. Like most of my games, for example, have two. I use two refineries, and I realize that's pretty. Uh, I don't say conservative, but it's pretty restrained. Um, a lot of people, especially on servers, they'll build as many as they can, but that's because you have a PvP driver there, and you need to at the maxed out end, you can't outproduce your opponent. So the next best thing is to like uh, get to maximum production as fast as possible, right? So it's a little different. But in a vanilla game, single player game, there's no limit, right? So, but you don't really need a whole lot. I guess it just depends on what numbers you like. So I find that like this base here is way more than I would normally make. I think this has like 8 refineries, way more than I normally have. 3 assemblers, way more than I normally have. Um, so when it comes to building a large ship, I kind of feel like it's the same thing. Like if you can build a giant ship, then what do you put inside it, right? That's kind of what it comes down to. Is there's nothing to put inside it. Normally, when you have something like militaries don't build large things just because they want a large thing, right? They don't say make a 70-ton tank because we have a 60-ton tank and wouldn't it be so much cooler to have a 10 tons heavier, right? They say make a 70-ton tank because they're like, we want this giant gun in it and we want this much armor on it, which means it needs this much power and this kind of heavy tracks. And the size and weight are product of function and the requirements to meet that function. Same with like battleships and all that. Like nobody said let's make a battleship because the destroyer is just not big enough, right? That with they're like, hey, we have these guns, they're fucking huge, and we'd really like to put them on a boat to go like inflict them upon people. I'm simplifying, right? But the thing is, like, the bigger ships, part of the reason they're bigger ships is because they have such big weapons on them, right? That's why the smaller ships have the smaller weapons. And in Space Engineers, there aren't a lot of weapon variety. There isn't a lot of weapon variety. So when you build like these massive warships, it's sort of weird because you're like, well, I have all this space. What am I going to do with it? And then I see a lot of people building warships that have like 30 refineries inside and all this other stuff. Like dozens of assemblers, drills, and all that. Uh-oh. And it's like, that's just not the way I like to do things. But it's also, I think, it's indicative of the fact that like there's not really much to put inside these things. So that's the problem that I run into with building really, really big ships. It's like big ships are awesome, but there's nothing to put in them. So it becomes sort of weird. Oh my God, let's turn these things on. And that should go poof. Yeah. Cool. Worrisome. The lights are over here. It should be grinding all this down, right? Yes. Anyway, I think I got a little bit off track with whatever I was trying to say. uh, that,
Energy critical.
I think it all came from, though. I think my original thesis was like, it helps me to design when I have an intended purpose ship. You know, because I like to really specialize into that purpose. So, for example, a cargo ship isn't going to have railguns on it. It's not going to have a lot of weapons at all on it. You know, a warship isn't going to have refineries on it. You know, because that space could be better used for more weapons, more power, more armor, or simply not be there, right? Like, for example, this ship from there to there doesn't really contribute anything to its function. There's a cargo in there, and that's it. I have a couple functional blocks in there, some fuel, but I mean, that could have been out here. So it's just excess space with nothing really in it. So that makes it challenging for me to design things. Oh, and goodbye. Yeah, thought I had everything. Anyway, I say all that not as a judgment, you know, not even remotely as a judgment. I'm just speaking from my perspective of how I build and what makes it easy or hard for me to build something. What facilitates the process for me. Yay! For example, the other people that I'm playing with on the server, they love to build giant ships, and like the stuff they build just dwarfs everything I have, and that's fine. You know, that's cool. And it's funny because the other day we were in a creative server. We were in creative mode and just chit chatting, and the one person had made the comment like, "You build really differently than we do. Like the way your stuff looks." And I was thinking about that later on, and I was like, that makes sense because I build a different scale. You know, um, neither one's like, it's just a difference. It's not like a quality assessment or anything, but I was like, yeah, that does make sense because I like, if you look at this design here, right? What Airgath has done is he's let a lot of the blocks, especially the functional blocks, have this really great detail. And if you leave those exposed, right, you get this really nice, rich aesthetic. You know, it's like the greebling. It organically it greebles itself basically, right? Like these wires are so good, you know, and they're just on the block, right? Um, and I really like that. So I try to lean into that when I design things. I tend to leave a lot of things exposed. It's not the best strategy for a PvP environment, right? PvP environment, you basically want everything wrapped in armor. Uh, and for really large ships, this doesn't really work well because there's not a lot of functional stuff you need to have in it, and it would be weird to have like a large ship with like, I don't know, like 50 exposed hydrogen tanks or something. You know, it would just look weird. A truly someone with enough artistic skill could definitely pull it off, but there's also an element of weirdness to it, and I think at a certain size, you sort of have to rely on what you build with the armor shapes that you have, and that's actually, ironically, that's a contributing element to why I don't build large, is because armor shaping is not something. It is something I find fairly challenging to do in a satisfying way. And with a more minimalist approach, I can leverage the natural greebles of the functional block and get aesthetics that I really like. So it's sort of like both sides work together to drive me towards building more at this size. Oh, and then it welded those up. So funny. So anyway, yeah, it's just interesting. The guy's observation. Hey, you build really different than we do. And then thinking about like why is that? Why do I build different? Obviously, like other than the obvious, like, well, everyone's different, right? Of course, that's true. Right? Oh, what is this? Oh, just random armor piece. All right, cool. So that's cleaned up. Wow. Alrighty, and it welded up. It welded up those pieces. That's kind of funny. It's a shame we don't have beam blocks or what are the other ones called? Truss blocks, I think, that are at an angle like that. That'd be really nice. Right. So let's see. Is this thing done? Where is that hacking computer? I'm not sure in general how long it takes. Oh, no enemy blocks found. Oh, right on. It's mine then. Owner, me. Me. Sweet. Now I would say on this mod that has the hacking computer, I would say I was surprised that the hacking chip that you have to produce can be recovered by grinding it down. I feel like that should be. I should grind to scrap. Okay. How do I get into this thing? Let's see there. All right. Nothing on the bottom. Oh, there it is. Oh, wow. Oh, right. And it's dead. Use this to move it. Fine now. All right, disconnect. Batteries on. Taxi on. Dampeners off. Oh, I need to remember to blueprint this thing before I start tinkering with it. I made that mistake on the previous ship. And hello again to the person who just joined. To this. Let's see. It shouldn't matter. That yeah, that connector kind of sticks out into space, so there's room all around. Cool. We can bring him here. Is that is that repair happening because I'm toasting it? Because that's kind of funny. Back. Oh fuck. Whoops. That's very funny. Oh. Ah, so much better. Cool. All right. Power off. Batteries and recharge. Connect. Skyheart refit. Yeah. Cool. All right. Let's get this shut off. This. I don't know what ranges these are set at. Probably pretty far. Oh, it's only 3 kilometers. It's not bad. This one? 20 kilometers. Yeah, that's too much. All right. And the D2 hauler. All right. And let's see, the piece I broke was one of these truss. Scaffold, that's the word. Not truss. Okay. Scaffold block. All right, let's see. So it's the half block. Just like that. I need a girder. Of course I do. Oh, and goodbye. Girder. There we go. Interesting that the thruster destroyed that. It only damaged the armor panel. Huh. All right, well, cool. Yeah, I really like this thing. Oh yeah, let's go see what's inside it now. Wrapped. All right. What is that? That's a refill station. Yeah. Cool. Bathroom. I like the use of the handrail there. Bed. And cockpit. Good. That's a good spot for that. Hmm. All right, what do we have? All right, we've got a basic task, defense, and a flight. There we go. Thrusters are all hidden. All right, so we've got a drone, a beacon. Drone. Got an oxygen tank. All right, you sent messages, so we can get rid of you. Unhidden thrusters. All right. Speed damage. All right, so what are you doing? Grid speed changed. The grid is slowed to equal or less than 10 meters a second. Message 4, otherwise message 5. Oh, I see. That's cool. So I guess they can actually go places and do stuff. 95. They've added every block, okay. AI defensive. Set attack mode. Enemies and neutrals. Set attack mode. I don't recall seeing those before. That's okay. Cool. AI defensive. Where is set attack mode? I guess that's this. Yeah. Cool. Turn that off. Turn that off. And off. Kinda. Okay. Please stop. Whew. All right, that's been removed. That's been removed. That's all fine. Cool. All right. Simple little ship. Cool. 5 minutes. Okay. One down, two up, two reverse, one left and right, two forward. This, oh man, this is a simple little ship. Okay. That. Let's see. Let's do batteries. Put those in recharge. Thrusters. We'll turn off. Gyros. Off. So let's do this. Thrusters. Gyros. Gyros. That's off. I think everything's off. Now they're fighting amongst themselves. All right, cool. So with everything off, I think I am safe. Go ahead and dock this thing. Never, never, never. Okay. Locked. All right, so its batteries are recharged now. Yep. Let's see, program. Running load balancing. Shut down. This is the base. All right, load balancing is fine. Battery charge is 97%, but load is 100. Battery. Max required input 12. Max output 12. Okay, so that makes sense. If you have two batteries on the base, which I do, and then you have two batteries that are recharging, yep, that's going to put them at 100% load. Okay. Cool. I can clean up the design on this. See, so this was a living area, and this side is the door. It's not even an airlock. Oh, okay. All right. Eidolon. Just keep on walking. Let's do this. We're going to separate you. Ah, that's very funny. I need a console somewhere. Ship name. All right, this is a cargo ion, and it has one container. It's not even jump capable. Ooh. Call it that. In there. Determined. Like that. Sure. All right, it's connected so we can blueprint it. Go. So now I have a copy. Oh. I forgot to blueprint it. That's okay. The changes were minor, and yeah, I'm okay with that. Right, so let's reconnect this, and oop. Yeah, there's the cargo container. So, did he approach within 2.5? Let's check. Defensive base radar. First slot triggers when enemy is detected. Second when enemy is no longer detected. And I'm pretty sure that works even when the behavior is disabled. means I guess he never got within 2.5. All right, there we go. Everything's off. And there's today's capture. Right there. Now we'll do something fun with that. And I was able to get the drone, patrol drone tested out. It does patrol. It does not give a crap about anything else. So it's certainly happy to wander into things like solar panels and bust up its engines. Now I would say maybe I need to set, because I set the minimum distance of the task block for the wandering. I set it at 300 and 600 meters. So my first thought would be, if I push that out to say 600 and 1,000 meters, that might keep the ship from doing that because it'll keep it farther away from the base. But something tells me that what will actually happen is, so if you think of the patrol, the wander area is like layers of an onion, right? The minimum distance will be like an inner layer of the onion, and the maximum distance will be like an outer layer of the onion. In between, there's however much distance. And I suspect what the pathfinding will do is it'll pick a destination in between those two layers. Problem happens is if the ship is like here and it's outside of the minimum distance and inside the maximum distance, and then the next location picked is over on this side, I feel like the ship's just going to head straight there. So that minimum distance, the ship won't, there's no guarantee the ship stays that far away. It just means that's where its navigation points are. And the reason I think that is because it did hit one of my solar panels. But I'll have to tinker with that some more to get a better idea. I feel like the block isn't smart enough to actually ensure its path, the actual path from current to destination, will stay within that provided boundary. But who knows? All right, so what do we got? I've got some girders. Oh man. There we go. Put the girders over here. Boop. Helmet off. Breathe that fresh canned air. There we go. Come on. Cool. All right. Well, I think that's it. I'm going to have a seat in this chair here and imagine there's food in front of me. And that'll be it for today. Thanks for hanging out and joining me, messing around on the server, secret server. Anyways, yeah, that'll be that. Hopefully I'll come up with something to do next Monday, and I guess we'll see what happens. So thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.